Hello and welcome to HSK Smart. Today, we're finally unveiling two words that often scare beginners but that you'll come across everywhere in Chinese. Mayo and boo. Have you ever wondered why sometimes we say boo and other times mayo? Do they mean the same thing? How can you avoid embarrassing mistakes or misunderstandings? Don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll understand the real difference between boo and mayo. You'll also know their usage contexts, their pitfalls, and even their hidden subtleties that textbooks forget to explain. So, stay until the final quiz. And let's get started with the lesson. Main function. It is used to negate a fact in the past, but also as a negative form of the verb to have. For example,
他没有来，
he didn't come.
我没有钱，
I don't have money. Regarding the hidden or less taught uses of mayu. 1. You can be used as a complete verb. That is, in everyday language, you can stand alone without an explicit object. For example,
你有伞吗?
do you have an umbrella?
没有，
And no. Here, the verb to have is implied. This is very common in spoken Chinese, but rarely mentioned in textbooks. 2. You is also used as the equivalent of neither or nor. Example,
我不喜欢喝咖啡，他也没有。
I don't like coffee, and neither does he. 3. It can also be used in comparisons, where it would mean less than. For example,
这个苹果没有那个苹果大。
this apple is not as big as that one. 4. In a comparative sentence, mayu is used to express that one element is inferior to another. Structurally, we can deduce A. Mayu. B adjective equals A is less than B. Mayu and gu can be used together to talk about experiences never lived. The structure is subject mayu verb go. For example,
我没有去过北京。
I have never been to Beijing. 5. It can also be used in an interrogative form, meaning did someone do it or not. Example,
你去没去? Did you go? 你有没有吃? Have you eaten?
this means the sentence structure should be subject you mayu verb. Now let's talk about the difference between mayu and boo. We'll use 3 criteria: time, the verb involved, and an example. Let's take the verb su, meaning to go in English, and see how it's used with these two particles. For mayu, the time reference must always be in the past, as we saw earlier. The verb involved can describe a past action or possession. Example,
我昨天没有去学校。
I didn't go to school yesterday. As you can see, you should never use boo to negate an action or an experience in the past. Combining boo with a verb in the past tense would be grammatically incorrect in Mandarin. Now for boo, the time reference must be present or future. Never forget this. If the verb involved expresses a state or a habit, then use boo. Example,
我不去学校。
I don't go to school. Now, do you want to know the pitfalls to avoid with mayu? Let's take a look together. Pitfall 1. Using mayu to negate present facts. This means you should never use mayu to deny present facts. For example, you can say,
我不累。I'm not tired.
here, you cannot use mayu, because it is used for the past, not for present states. Pitfall 2. Using may without you. Although may is sometimes used alone, know that it is only grammatically correct in certain very colloquial or elliptical contexts. Pitfall 3. Using may you with verbs that express permanent states or voluntary actions. In these cases, you should use boo instead. For example, it is correct to say,
我不喜欢咖啡。
I don't like coffee, but you should not say.
我没有喜欢咖啡，
Also, do not use may you in the present tense for habitual actions. Example,
他没有上班，
is incorrect for saying he doesn't work. The correct way would be,
他不上班。
and regarding other habitual actions, such as a daily routine, it is incorrect to say.
你每天早上喝咖啡没有?
Why it's incorrect? Because may tian means every day, which implies a habit, and may you is not suitable for asking if an action is performed daily. However, if you say,
你每天早上喝咖啡吗?
that is correct. This means you can use ma to ask if it is a habit. For a regular leisure activity, it is incorrect to say.
你周末去跑步没有?
Why it's incorrect? Because jomo means weekend, which implies a frequent activity. Mayu does not apply to a potential action every weekend. Instead, you can say,
你周末去跑步吗?
using ma to ask if it's a regular activity. In the context of regular study, It is also incorrect to say.
你晚上学习中文没有?
Why it's incorrect? Because wan sheng means evening, indicating a part of the daily routine, and mei yu is not appropriate for habitual actions. Instead, you can say,
你晚上学习中文吗?
thus using ma to form a question about a habit. So here, you can clearly see that mei yu is better used to ask whether a one-time action has been carried out or not, rather than to inquire about habits or repeated actions. For repeated actions, placing me at the end of the sentence is more appropriate to form a question about a habit. It is also very important for you to understand the cultural nuances and tones surrounding bu and meiyu. What textbooks don't often tell you is that the choice between bu and mei you can convey attitude, politeness, or an implicit intention. For example, when you say,
你吃不吃?
"Are you going to eat or not?" This phrasing is considered more direct, even somewhat insistent. On the other hand, when you say,
你有没有吃?
"Have you eaten?" it is perceived as softer and more caring. This means that the structure with you is often regarded as more considerate and friendly. Well, here's a mnemonic tip. Think of you as a past eraser. It erases an action, a possession, or an experience that has already happened. And think of bu as a present or future wall. It blocks what is happening now or will happen later. For the summary of this video, remember this. For a past negation, use meiyu. For a present or future negation, use bu. To mean do not have, use meiyu. When talking about an experience, use meiyu with guo. For the negation of a current state, tired, happy, etc., use bu. Now it's time to test what you've really learned. Let's move on to the quiz. Let's see if you've truly mastered the lesson on meiyu and bu. All right, let's go. Now, in your opinion, what are the correct answers to these quizzes? Reply in the comments and let's see who really understood. There you go. Now you know the real differences between meiyu and bu, far beyond the usual textbook explanations. You've seen their uses, their pitfalls, their cultural nuances, and even what the manuals don't tell you. Chinese isn't so complicated when it's explained with clarity, logic, and practical tips. So, if you want to keep improving and avoid the traps in Chinese, subscribe to HSK Smart. Turn on the notification bell and leave your quiz answers in the comments. See you very soon for another clear, useful, and 100% practical lesson. See you soon on HSK Smart.